It's FIVB World League Group 2 bronze medal time. It's Turkey against the Netherlands, live from Matosinhos in Portugal. Hello there and welcome to Porto with me, Louis Lett. We have a bronze medal game coming your way. Two teams looking to bounce back from the disappointment of defeat yesterday evening. Turkey and the Netherlands. Turkey going down 3-0 to the favourites for this group, Canada. And well, the Dutch were beaten in an exciting game, the last night against the hosts, Portugal. The crowd are making their way into Matosinhos as we speak. We are expecting a full house this evening for the final match between Canada and Portugal. But first things first, two teams both growing. Turkey under coach Emmanuel Zanini has spoken about how his team are growing. They're inexperienced and they were beaten by their own emotion yesterday, and they have a chance to bounce back. That man in your picture, Serhat Coşkun. Be interesting to see if he starts today. He did have a role yesterday. He came off the bench as an opposite player, part of a double substitution from Zanini. The Netherlands in your picture will be disappointed, to say the least. Coach Vermaelen, well, he rued poor decisions and a poor start yesterday. Poor decisions at a key time in the context of the game as well. Their defence and their block did improve throughout the third set that they won, but Portugal just never gave up. There's Mehmet Toy in your picture on the right-hand side. Looks like that he will be the starting opposite. Maybe to think about, will teams go for the experienced players or will they look to blend in a little bit of youth? There's a bronze medal at stake, but also their chances of promotion are now gone. So it's all about building again for the future. There is Coach Vermaelen in your picture. As we are almost ready for the national anthems here. Netherlands, Van Halen, the setter #1, started every set yesterday, was taking off at times. Roerdink, the outside player. Be interesting to see if he starts with Van Gardingen. Dronkers and Plak didn't have much to do yesterday. Kayak, the setter. Kokosch, the wing spiker. Hyerli, the middleman. Guncourt, the outside as well. There is Mehmet Toy, number 15. Have a look for him. Also Koch, number 20. It's fairly impressive in the middle. Turkey growing as a team, need to bounce back after a disappointing performance yesterday against Canada. a team still trying to rebuild to the glory days of the 90s, where they won a silver in Barcelona, gold in Atlanta, and many a World League title went alongside those Olympic medals. Keeping number 2 in your picture did have some impact off the bench yesterday. There is Zanini. How much did Turkey learn yesterday? Speaking to him a little bit earlier, did say they are making history at the moment, Turkey, making results that they haven't made before. This Turkish side, well, they're 8-2 in this World League. They've only lost 2 games. Holland have won 6 from 10. The officials, Ali Fadili and Nicholas Heckford, are the men in charge of this one. Here is the starting lineup. Harlem will be setting. Opposite is Tiamat, number 16, who top scored yesterday. The fin back in the middle. Spaden's a libero, and Ringa and Garderen will start on the outside. Interesting to see how Turkey starts as well. Kayak the setter, Haili in the middle, libero. It's Abudak, who struggled the libero yesterday to get involved in the game. Toy, the opposite, Koch in the middle as well. It's Turkey that are going to make their way out onto the court first. Number 4 is the top point scorer of this World League campaign, Guncourt. 15 is Metin Toy, so expect a lot of sets to go to that man in your picture, number 4, and also the number 15, Yesil Badak, the libero, who didn't have his best passing game. Turkey did struggle with the pass, and they felt yesterday that every time they got in front, they gave the lead straight back to Canada. Is Van Harlem, he's already out on the centre court. There is the captain, who was very impressive yesterday when Holland could pass well enough to introduce the middles into the game. Thomas Corlewin starts as well, the other middle player. And Ringa, Overbeek, number 11, who did receive a red card yesterday, will start on the bench. And the libero is Spadens. No changes from either side from yesterday. Both teams with no changes, no experimenting. Both teams going for the bronze medal. There is Manuel Zanini. Four years as Slovakian head coach from Ireland. He's coached this Dutch team since 2014. Previously the head coach of the Spanish women. Won silver as a junior coach of the Netherlands in 2014 as well. And it was introduced to international, or to the international coaching level, with a 5th at Atlanta in 1996 as the assistant to the women's side. The setter, Van Harlen, will start proceedings off. Both teams will be looking for a good, solid start to this one. Holland will be looking to get their captain, Defin, back into the game. Try and leave the wing spikers one-on-one on the outside. Turkey will be really wanting Mehmet Toy and Guncourt to start well as well. Very humid in here, very muggy as well. The ball will be doing all sorts off of the serve. It is Guncourt that does start attacking for Turkey. 17 points yesterday, the man in your picture. He was dominant for Turkey, but he couldn't gain control of the match for his side. Awkward serve, and Spaden's under pressure straight away with that float serve. No pressure on the outside as Tiamat, the opposite, starts hitting from the left. Both teams opening up and hammering out on the wing. It's only the second time that these teams have met. Turkey winning in straight sets earlier on in the qualification process. More float serves. Really muggy and humid in here. The ball's going to do an awful lot with the float serve. It's going to be moving as there's a block, but the block goes straight out. It's going to be interesting to see if the passers step up, try and receive the ball overhand, or whether they try and wait and track it. And pass underarm. Gunkor, who is going also for a float serve, he does choose to jump serve sometimes as well. Pipes in for the first time. Van Garderen is looking for the call in. The referee gives it out. Work though from the Dutch. Free net for the spiker. Tiamat, this time from the right, does exactly the same as he did from the left. Delivers another kill for Holland. He's the danger man for this Dutch side, Tiamat. When he's firing, this team are very dangerous. Lots of the Dutch team choosing to play their volleyball abroad. The Dutch league not as strong as it once was. Scrambling at the net, both teams. Chance for Turkey, but it's very tight. Nice setting from Kayak. One-handed, ball's so tight to the net. Can't get two hands on it, only uses one, but that's good enough to find the middle. Spadens is back on the libero, and Deffenbach is out. Miss serve. Now it's Mustafa Koch's turn to leave the court and be replaced by Hassan Yesilbadak. Nice passing from Gunkor. Again, we saw the danger man served often yesterday as well, trying to obviously take the snake's head off of this Turkish onslaught. Good setting again from Kayak to get his feet around the ball, but they can't convert there, Turkey. Both teams tipping away. Yesilbadak trying to go for flair, jumping, taking off behind the 3-meter line, which if you're going to set the ball as a libero, you have to make sure that your feet are not on the line. As you can see, he takes off well behind it, but unfortunately, no control. Ace. Tiamat taking matters into his own hand in this one early on. Make that 3 points already for the Dutch opposite. This time Turkey do find an answer. Mehmet Toy plays his volleyball in Fenerbahce. Absolute bullet from the baseline from the opposite man. Van Garderen can only slow the play down. Nothing powerful from him, but there's two in the block, three in the block even from Holland. But even though there are three blockers, Turkey decide to tool off the block and take the point. They've lost two in a row, this Netherlands side. They need to try and build a little bit of confidence through their camp. And again, Tiamat has been set a large amount of balls thus far. It's going to be interesting to see how much, A, how many sets he gets even, but B, how he's going to suffer from tiredness as this game develops. Did struggle at times on the outside, the Netherlands, with some spiking errors, but serving has started very well. That's a second ace. Van Garderen this time. Nothing that Turkey can do about that one. Pace and placement from Van Garderen. Too hot to handle. Slows this one down a little bit though, so Turkey do get the pass in. Nice setting from Kayak. Very nice, very high, fast release of the ball. And Toy goes screaming through on the 10 attack. Could be a close one. This one, obviously, the Netherlands were involved in such a close game last night against hosts Portugal. Portugal, who only won 2 games. The Netherlands lead at the technical timeout, 8-7. Portugal really did show up last night in front of a home crowd. That's too good from Kolovin. Teams are trading early on here in Porto. Back-to-back defeats for the Dutch against Korea in Korea last week. Yesterday, losing out to Portugal. Turkey, having given everything in the qualification stage, we're here as the second best qualification team. Seeded 3 because the host nation gets the #1 seed in the World League, so Portugal are here as the #1 seeds, but not the favourites, but they are upsetting the odds here. Pipe attack is slightly out of time. Timing's poor. Gunkor wipes off the block. It's leader of the team, Deffenbach. Middleman who plays his volleyball in France nowadays. Scored 13 points yesterday. Spardens has to step in and take responsibility. That one's still travelling out the back. No touch. They're looking, though, the Dutch, but unfortunately that one was halfway up the wall in the sports hall. Looking to go high and hit off the block. Unfortunately missing everything, and the consequence of that action is that the ball does miss by quite some way. Zanini with the tactic board out, plotting and planning and trying to stay one step ahead of the game. Oh, Kayak, the southpaw. First time we've seen that. Opening up on 2. Catching the block defense by surprise. Deffenbach too busy trying to watch his middleman. Setter decides to use the hammer on the second plate. Does so very well. Good passing from both sides. Really, it's gonna set the tone for this game, the pass. If both teams can get the ball in, gonna have an exciting game on our hands. Nothing too scratchy so far. It's all been pretty good volleyball. Gunkor from the right this time. Both teams playing with a little bit less pressure on their shoulders, I think, here. Sparden's going for the Hollywood set, the reverse from position 6, jumping inside the first 3 meters of the court. Unfortunately, the set is a little bit too low. Van Garderen still tries to blast it. Deffenbach again. The Netherlands are really trying to get their middle in this game as often as they can. It's good setting from Van Haarlem. It's a little bit off the net, so the approach of the spiker has to go with the setter and jump off the net as well to keep the ball in front of him. Does that well, and the point's taken by the Netherlands. He is a big boy, Mehmet Toy. over 2 meters tall. Easy pickings for the Netherlands. Andriga just puts the ball on the spot, that between position 2.5 and 3. Again, the middleman of Turkey, Haili, has to go with his opposite number, and that leaves Van Garderen marked only by one person on the outside. Gonkor again with a little bit of pipe action of his own. Good reply this from Turkey. Teams could not be much closer through this first set. That is for sure. Golovin always drifting in the block, gaining any stability through the air. Tiamat again bringing a little bit of heat to this Dutch performance early on. Seen power from Van Garderen. This time we see a tip down the line, making the most of probably a little bit of a low set this. But again, I think they know there's a little bit of a mismatch here. Kayak, not the biggest blocker. Only 187. Deliberate tactic to keep utilising the pass, using it to the outside to go over the small block. So we might see Van Garderen tipping over the top of him. Realises that the Turkish setter isn't in the same airspace as him when it comes to working at the net. Reactions. Something's been called here. Holland aren't happy. Maybe a double touch. Hands on the heads time from the Dutch again. Shrugging of the shoulders. Let's have a look here. Off the foot of Andriga. Don't quite know what's been called, to be fair. Potentially a lift, but everything looked like it was in one action. Tiamat, yet again, from the left, from the right, from the service line. Doesn't matter. Scoring from every area on court. Can't remember him scoring this many or playing this freely yesterday. Aspects of it will be down to the pass, I'm sure. Mehmet Toy, his opposite number, has started just as effectively. Timeout call. Turkey are 2 in charge in set number 1. But this one could go either way. Mehmet Toy toying with the sideline, but the ball dropping on the good side. Turkey, well, Zanini said yesterday that it was because of their emotion that they were beating. The occasion was too big for them, but now they look much more settled out there. Kim Ink in your picture, also was a very versatile player, playing on the beach as well for the Netherlands in the World Championships last year. Hasn't come on that much throughout this weekend, but when he has, he's done fairly well for the Netherlands. Haili is going to serve and try and just keep this momentum. Fenbach is stopped this time, very rare. We haven't seen him stop many times over this weekend, and Turkey take full advantage of it by scoring another. A bit more relaxed, this Turkish side today, aren't they? Gunkor makes the most of what's a difficult situation. Off the head of Andriga. A bit out of tune from the Netherlands, and that's why there's been a timeout called. 2 missed side-outs in a row. Let's have a look at the face shot on the wing spiker. It's a meaty blow to the head, that one. Two in a row is a little bit of a game changer here. 16-14 at the technical timeout. Turkey have extended that lead. Just run away a little bit. Both teams have been neck and neck throughout this first set, but now Turkey are well in charge. They were setless yesterday against the Canadians. He still has the ball in his hand. Tiamat, as he has done all afternoon so far, he's just kept coming in. His timing's good, he's high, he's going through the ball, and he's delivering. It's his body weight transferring right the way through that one. This time it's Turkey's time to struggle with the passing. Goes higher to the outside. Problem with going high to the outside is it gives the middles time to get out. Defenbach did get out. He did support Tiamat in the block. No room for the danger man from Turkey to manoeuvre the ball around. The lift is called possibly against the setter here. Kayak is the only man who can talk to the referee because he is the captain. So that lift called against. Gonkor. Has to be like an upward motion. Zanini is still pleading innocence here.
To the first referee.
Sorry, the same.
Finish.
Volleyball is one.
Finish. Coach, no more.
Second referee, Nick Heckford, telling the coach to calm down and have no more input. Lift was called against Gonkor, and really the wrist looked like it was behind the ball as opposed to underneath it. Referee has the best view in the house.
Right, we repeat, we start from one shot.
We're going around in circles here. Couple for Turkey, couple for the Netherlands, and we're back to a very close game. Zanini, can't see him on your picture, but he's still arguing his case, trying to get his point across. Runs of points here, 3 for Turkey, 2 back for the Netherlands. Better passing. This time, it's Toy that has 2 blockers on him. Same as the previous, the point before last even. The Dutch get a big block. Lights out. Gonkor tries to cover, but can't get underneath the ball. Vermaelen more animated than he was yesterday, celebrating. Middle player, I think that's the wrong side of the sideline. Yes, it is. No complaints from Turkey this time. Just celebrations for the Netherlands because it's maybe 5 in a row now. Another timeout. No surprise there from Zanini. And just over-rotating with the upper body. Ball misses the sideline. Frustration, poor body language from Mustafa Koç. More of the story is that Netherlands have really put Turkey under pressure here. Remember, it's a 4-point game. So that's 5 in a row for for the Netherlands. It was 18-14. Van Haarlem has orchestrated a little bit of this momentum so far from the service line, but also within a setting capacity as well, utilising his options, running the ball around a little bit. Zanini has become a frustrated figure, and we're hitting an important time of this first set. Goncourt does finally find a side out for Turkey. Defenbach is trying to get out as quick as he can and get as high as he can and in the face of the spiker, but he's just a little bit too late. Spaden's passing. Just out blocking their opponents at the moment. Defenbach has got his skates on here, but he won't get that ball out the side of court. Nice defense from Van Garderen. He's low, he's still. He eats that one up. It's good defending from the sixth man, putting himself between the two blockers, just taking the hole that's left if the block doesn't get out to support the opposite man. Van Haarlem penetrating from position one. He's got three attackers. Does go back to Tiamat. Somehow he ends up on the floor, but so does the ball. Sign of a man being in slightly too early, or the ball being behind the spiker when they land and then they drift backwards, you can see here. Goncourt looking puzzled. The Dutch block causing scenes here. Turkey cannot find a way past the front three. Tiamat and Defenbach doing most of the damage as a pair. 3, 4, 5 times in the closing stages of this first set, we've seen the Dutch blockers really go to town on the Turkish spikers. It's been a big, big part of this comeback from the Netherlands. And then Spadens makes an unbelievable recovery out to the scorer's board. Van Garderen maybe would have got that if there wasn't 5 people in his way. Top marks for the effort, though. Tiamat fires up once again. Loves hitting cross court. It's quite an angled approach, and he's attacking the left side of the ball. Goncourt has extremely good hang time. Bends his approach around the middleman. Almost looks like he might have gone behind him and then to the right of him, and then he turns up to the left side of the middleman, causing a bit of a distraction for the blockers. Tiamat once again scoring points, doing what he does best. He really has been the standout man once again for this Dutch team. We saw him hit angle last time, but we see that he's just as good hitting off the body down to the line. Service pressure from Tiamat. Now he's on the backcourt. We might see him attack through the 10. There he is on the 10, Tiamat, and everything he's touching is turning to gold here. Service pressure is strong from the number 16 on the front, on the back, whether he's hitting line or angle, and really Kayak sitting high at 6 is, I think, trying to defend the tip, but his role changed very quick when the ball came very fast at him. There's a substitution, Zahat Joshkin. Seen this yesterday. Kayak comes out. And Murat Yeni Pazar comes in. It's a change of the opposite and the setter. Just a double substitution, something we see all the time in this sport. More blocking from the Netherlands gives them the first set here. Can try and slow them down by making substitutions all day long, but they cannot find a way to get through the block. That's huge from Kolowin. It's high over the net, everything facing back into the center of the court. After a slow start, Turkey had the initiative, but the Netherlands have been unbelievable within the blocking stage of the game. 25-23. They've bounced back well here, the Dutch. The question is, can they keep this level of energy and consistency up? There we have it, some statistics from the first set. 25-23. More attacks from Turkey, but look at the blocking stats. 4 against 1. In a game that's decided by 2 points only, aces and blocks really do show their importance. The service pressure strong from the Dutch. A happy coach. Good over Marlin. Showed some character there, didn't they, the Dutch? 4 points, 5 points down, I think, at one stage in that first set. Tiamat, the top scorer, with 8, as is Gonkor. No surprise that it's going to turn into a little bit of a duel between Tiamat and Gonkor to see who can score the most points, but Tiamat has been super impressive thus far. Zanini always one step ahead of the game. The coach who spent 4 years as the head coach of Slovakia, won the European League in 2008 and 2011. Zanini's also been the assistant coach for Italy. For Merlin in your picture, has a growing CV as well. Coach pro in Holland, Italy and Spain. He's got a task ahead of him with this Dutch side, though. They're young and they're hungry. They're impressive as well. And they've snatched the first set here. Remember, in the previous fixture between these two teams, Turkey were victorious, winning 3-0. Could be get your own back time for the Dutch in Porto. Defense is very strong. Good start from Turkey. High early does well, just to be patient in his initial defensive position and then react. Potentially watching the speed of the arm and watching for the tip. Very quiet and very eerie in here at the moment. Back again. There's no way that one's going back towards position 5, but speed's good. The connection between the setter and the middle player, very strong. They really do want Deffenbach to influence this game on every occasion. More blocking from Deffenbach and Tiamat. That's the duo that have caused so many problems, and they're doing a job on the danger man here, Guncourt. I think they realise he's going to get a lot of action. Look at that finish from Deffenbach. Making copious amounts of blocks here today. Van Haarlem making money in defence as well, staying still and just reacting so nicely. It's very tight to the net, it's off the body, it's more of a cut shot from Guncourt. Van Garderen frustrated as the ball's caught up. It's caught underneath the ball. Chases on from Kayak. Should be a point to the Netherlands here. Deffenbach again hitting off the body. Again, they really do want to make Deffenbach a key cog in this system. They are feeding him as much as they can. Fortunately, this is the last we're going to see of the Dutch captain as he's back to serve. He's going to be liberoed off as soon as his service run comes to an end. Oh, overhead kick is miraculous from Mehmet Toy. One of the biggest units in the Turkish side, goes crushing towards the advertising board. It's poor from the libero Yesel Badiak. Struggling to track the ball. He lets the ball get past his shoulders. So he's always second best at that one. Turkey do manage to introduce the middle for the first time in this second set. Van Haarlem maybe a little bit frustrated because he made the read. He sat there in the pocket. You can see the Dutch setter really being vocal. There's a quiet man in Zanini. Marlon is also a very methodical coach, where Coach Santos yesterday for Portugal, very animated. Two in a row from Turkey through the middle, and Koch has got a good ratio here, 2 and 2. Not the prettiest, the ball's always travelling across him, but he still manages to keep the ball in his hitting window and make the point. Koch goes and has a seat. Obviously the liberos are introduced for the middleman, specialist passers and defensive players. So Bodiak. It's better from the libero. You can still see that he's moving his platform away from the ball at the last possible moment. Not quite finishing his pass, but does get in, and it is too hot to handle from the tall, agile figure of Tiamat. Mehmet Toy can look to the ceiling as much as he likes. This is a very similar story for Turkey as we saw yesterday. Couldn't quite find the rhythm and the momentum within the serve to put enough pressure on the opposing team's side out. Side out is the phase of the game for anyone who's new to volleyball, that you're receiving the serve. Defenbach is back on court, and he's back on fire as well. It's a wider set, trying to move the middle blocker around maybe 3 or 4 meters. There's no middleman in the picture from Turkey. Toy again, his body language giving off negative signals. The Netherlands are in control here, one would feel. 8-6 up, 1-0. Jasper Defenbach has been a man to be reckoned with this whole weekend, really. He'll feel disappointed, and he'll feel that he performed well yesterday as well. 13 points, the Dutch captain, but today, not only has he been making points in offense, Turkey have struggled to get past him in the block as well. Impressive stuff from the skipper. Sloppy setting from Kayak, quite slow with the feet. It's a low pass, so he had to try and work something out of nothing there, but really he'd expect to put Gunkor in a much better place than that, the setter. Drifting backwards as he's contacting the ball. Salini said Turkey let emotions get the better of them yesterday, and it potentially might happen again. Toy loves going down the line. A lot of these players in this Turkish side were picked up by a talent identification program. Gunkor was one. Gokosh, who's we haven't seen out there yet today. This time, Defenbach is, for the first time, hasn't connected with the setter. Does do well to jump off the net with the setter. As we said earlier, when the setter's off the net, the middleman has to jump with them as well. Fayak Samet Gunesh hasn't played yet this weekend, and Yanni Pazar were all players picked up from Turkey in that talent identification program and placed in the 2nd division of the Turkish leagues. It's really worked for Turkey, that program, because it led them to runners-up in the World Championships at under-23 level, but it's also allowed them to have a very good run in this World League. A run that's been halted by Canada, but also challenged today by the Netherlands. Better setting from Kayak. Ball's pinging around everywhere. Another chance for Turkey, looking to go on 2. He really did sell that well, Kayak, but unfortunately the following set wasn't good enough. And Holland really counter-attack through that point and snatch it. I'm almost getting a free ball from Turkey when they were in a position of control. Vermaelen really wants this bronze. Some of the underdogs today, the Netherlands, after winning 6 out of 10 of their World League games, and Turkey, well, their record was 8-1 in qualification before their loss yesterday. They're the team in form, but you wouldn't think it at this moment in time. Gunkor, they're leaving the line alone there in the block defence, unless it was Tiamat's line that was slightly out the opposite. If his line was out, his spiking approach certainly wasn't. High, swings on the angle. It's a 2-point game. generation. Koch leaves, and it was, we spoke about Gunesh just a short while ago as part of that young generation coming through the Turkish ranks, who makes his way onto the court. Pass is strong. Tiamat loves hitting the ball away on the angle, doesn't he? 3 or 4 times. They're going to have to put a stop to that, Turkey. It's becoming too common. It's a good run from the middleman. The middleman's on a 3-meter sort of quick ball, shoot ball. It's really to park the opposing middle blocker against him to open up Tiamat. It means the block's always got further to travel. Everything is working for Vermaelen at the moment. At that time, Harili gets one over on Kolovin. Nice finish, strong left hand from the middleman. Not this time, though. The middle's summoned to a second successive duel. So it wasn't the middleman. So yes, it was Harili. The left hand again, this time wasn't formed, wasn't stable in the air, and Kolovin takes his point. Turkey really need one here to stay in touch. There's another block, this time from Holland, but unfortunately it is out. Free Fadeli making the signal, no complaints from Holland. Agonisingly close. We see that quite a lot, don't we, in this game nowadays? The team will lose the point, but still celebrate trying to change the referee's decision. A bit of gamesmanship. Zanini hunting a decision here. Wants one to go his way. Barden's playing a little bit of dodgeball in defence. Nice setting from Kayak. It's low, so he has to try and lift it in the path of his middleman. Does that strong. The middleman's on time. He's in the air when the ball's in the setter's hands. It's quite important for that fast attack. Ball's in the hands. Middleman needs to track the ball in from the pass and be in the air. Very fast play. Haven't seen much of Andrig in offense. It's a quick play, outruns the Turkish block and thuds the ball home. We haven't seen that much of the wing spikers. It has been the Tiamat show. Remember, Tiamat did score 17 yesterday, but Portugal found a way to keep him quiet. Gasper and Alex were in fine form for Portugal yesterday, just to name 2 of that side. What have Turkey got right now? It's role reversal of the first set. If you remember, it was Turkey that went in 2 points in front. So we know that as much as this lead from the Netherlands is important, it's not set defining at all. There's room for a comeback. Lack of focus, I think, from Van Harlem. The toss was drifting across his body. And what happens when the ball goes from your strong shoulder to your weak one is that you compromise your height. and your balance in the air, and with that, when you do compromise the height, you also compromise the power as well. Need to hold their side out here. Wow. Van Garderen, effective through that back attack, isn't he? Almost takes the shoulder off of O'Reilly. Through in the block. Tiamat on the front court, Deffenbach as well. These two have teamed up very well. Don't be surprised if the Dutch put a couple of nails in the coffin of Turkey here. Deffenbach has got good foot speed. Very quick feet, hasn't he? Gets out to the wings. Super speedy. His body weight actually started going towards the opposite player, Tiamat, but then he changed direction quite quick. Unfortunately, he couldn't get his shape in the block back towards the centre, and teams are trading. Nice from Van Garderen. Difficult for a wing spiker who has to pass short and then try and get his approach out. It's a deliberate tactic from Turkey. Couldn't quite unleash on that one, but he does manage to use it quite well with the tip through the block. Metintoy is not a happy bunny out there. Nice reactions from Colleran. Chance for Tiamat to score yet another point, and he does. How are they going to stop this man? Tiamat is just killing everything. Lots of credit must go to Colleran and his reactions in there, but there's a big gap. They're blocking the angle there. Turkey again, they know that Tiamat is teeing off, hitting across the court. They couldn't dig him, and now they certainly can't block him either. Timeout Turkey. They need to find some answers here. Can Turkey stop Tiamat? Van Garderen has started to light up a little bit as well. I wouldn't quite call this a domination or one-way traffic, but it is very effective from the Netherlands. Substitution. Kadir Jin leaves the court. Placed by Ganesh. Nice substitution. Ganesh makes an impact straight away, lining up on his opposite number and doing a job on him. Not much celebrations, but goes late in the block, Ganesh. Colleran wants to bring that one back to the line. Tiamat again. More cross-court blocking from Turkey. Still cannot find an answer. They leave him the line this time. As a right-side player, as the ball comes across you, it's a little bit easier to see what the block's doing. On the left side, when you're trying to get your feet to the ball, it's not quite as easy. More blocking from Holland, and that's been a defining factor. This time it's Van Harlen. We've seen Tiamat blocking very well with Deffenbach, but this time the setter gets a pat on the back because he's stopping Gokosh this time off the shoulder of Ganesh. You potentially should be covering a little bit better there. Turning his back on play isn't ideal. He wants to be shaping and facing the block. Another timeout. The Netherlands are flying here in Porto. Tiamat doing all the serving. Colleran, Van Garderen, Van Haarlem on the front court. They won't be blocking this time though. Just another demonstration of frustration after a timeout. The reason why a coach will call a timeout is to potentially disrupt the rhythm of the server and their focus. It's 2 timeouts or post-timeouts service errors that we've seen from Holland. I don't know how costly that's going to be because Tiamat is just proving to be in too good a form. Free ball, surely it's another point for the Netherlands. They don't go to the middle because there's one-on-one on the outside, and that's sloppy from Van Garderen. Scrappy stuff. He's in slightly too early. You can see his hips are underneath the ball, he's arching backwards. So 2 points lost in a row for the Netherlands have just eased a little bit of pressure their way. Feeling that Tiamat may get back involved in this one very soon. Just 2 errors though really from the Netherlands. It wasn't Turkey working overly hard to win those points. Service error and really a spike that went wide off a free ball. Van Garderen is fed again and Turkey do make a dig. Can they convert? Yes, they can. Gokosh plays his volleyball for Arcus. Fun enough with the head coach of Canada. This is nudging into a very entertaining finale. Holland were hard to stop, but now they cannot find a way. This time they do. They decide not to go back to Van Garderen, who's failed to convert a point in the last 2. They do use Colleran through the middle. Off the block of Haruli. Tiamat makes his way off, and that's a good substitution from Holland this. Now they have 3 spikers on the front court. They might be making their way back off very shortly though. Van Garderen fires another missed serve. It's a performance from the Netherlands that was so promising through the first and early mid stages of this set, but their consistency has dropped. Overbeek, the opposite, Kiemink, the second setter. It's just allowing the Dutch to attack with 3 front court hitters. I'm sure Tiamat hasn't seen the court for the last time in this set either, but they had to change something, and that's more options on the front court. Kiemink finds Overbacker, and Holland find a crucial point, and that's why they're celebrating drastically, because they know how important that one is. It's a good substitution. Kayak comes back in. Yenipazar, the second setter, leaves the court for Turkey. Overbaker stays. 3 blockers again. Kiemink going to run to position 1 to play defense. They're out of system here, Turkey. They need to find the floor. It's very close, but they do just squeeze the ball in. So it's a deflection off the defender, my mistake. Tied at 23s. Halverlever, great play. Keeming teams up with Deffenbach. That's very nice from the young setter. The service pressure was strong from Toy, but no respect from the Netherlands, who bring up a set point. Change again, Tiamat coming straight back in. Keeming gets a high five from his coach because that substitution worked delightfully well for the Dutch. Keeming coming in and making a real statement, doing his job for his team. Overbaker as well, making a point. Good work from Coach Vermaelen. Turkey is struggling. They're a little bit out of system. First chance for the Dutch. Turkey are holding on for everything here. Scratchy and a little bit careless, but Turkey lived to see another point in this one. Both teams giving 110% in every aspect of the game. For once, Deffenbach doesn't finish on the block and the ball does go through him. Early, what can he produce from the baseline? Can he put this Dutch team under pressure? Tiamat is closed down. I think everybody knew that Tiamat was going to have to spike that one. And it's a gift for Guncourt. Now, Turkey have their chance. Timeout from Coach Vermaelen because he knows this one has just swung around once again. This one could go either way. Not much left in this set in the way of time, but potentially there's a lot more action to come here. Do Holland look to go back to Tiamat, doing his work from position 4 on the outside? Do they look to give the ball to the middleman, Deffenbach, who hasn't let a lot of people down over this weekend? Pass is strong. They do go to the middle to Deffenbach, and it is off the head and out of play. Too late from Ganesh. Ganesh, Guncourt too late in the block. The 4-man trying to support the middle blocker. Pressure is rising here in Porto. Both teams scurrying everywhere. Spadens reads the ball in defense so well. And it's Van Garderen that does the rest, but credit goes to Spadens. He's getting high fives from his team. Sees the body actions of Kayak and makes the defensive play. Knows where the block is, doesn't he, Van Garderen? And shapes the ball away. Hits the sharp one. Second set point for the Netherlands. Anti-climax is Andrig. Again, under pressure, you just rush your routines. You rush what happens so naturally, normally. Pancake, they do just keep the ball in existence. They've done well to get an attack away there through Tiamat. Someone's flirting with the net, the net's going all over the place. Deffenbach says, not me. Tiamat says, not me either. The net was doing all sorts, though. Someone seen something. Referee Heckford points at Tiamat and says, it's definitely you. Turkey with their second set point. He's pleading his innocence there, Tiamat, but I think we will see that he's guilty. Gets his own back. They stay alive. We are well in overtime here in Porto. Two teams that really cannot split. It's too close to call. Someone's going to be looking for a touch here. Touch is given, no complaints. Sorry, no touch given, my mistake. There's no complaints from Turkey. Third set point. Yeah, that's missed by an absolute mile. Gunkor, who's usually so reliable from every position, just shows what a little bit of pressure can do for you. Defenbach as reliable as ever. They need to find a stop though. Mermit Toy sends one of the steepest spikes down that we've seen all weekend. He's a big, heavy figure, isn't he? 95 kilos, every kilo going through that one. There's 3 in the block here from Turkey. It's going to be tough to get past them. Van Gardingen doesn't. He gets a second opportunity. He doesn't get past the block again, but the cover from Holland is exceptional, but they can't keep the ball alive. Turkey have come to this party now in the block, only making 1 block in the first set. They're teaming up very well to do a job on Van Garderen. Gokosh has made a good impact since coming into this one. Here we go. Big chance this for Turkey to go 1-1. They take it. We're going 1-1 into the third set. They've hung in there, Turkey. They've not had it all their own way. But Mermit Toy and Gokosh, just to name a couple, have really taken this game into their own hands. Colleran doesn't finish on the block, so he gets punished for his ill discipline, and it's Turkey that take this second set 30-28. Both games settled the closest of margins. Tiamat controlled the game here early on, but Turkey have managed to put pressure on the danger man. That man Gunkor is as consistent as ever. Which way is this one going to go? Just like everything, too close to call. More attacks from the Netherlands. More points won for Turkey of opposition errors. Turkey have gained more in the block than we've seen previously as well. Join the conversation. What do you think at FIVB Volleyball? Let us know your opinion on this one. Both teams are going head-to-head, toe-for-toe for a bronze medal here. It's very warm in this hall. Very muggy, very humid. Gunkor and Tiamat tied at 14 points each through this game. Toy has scored 10 from 19 attempts. Tiamat, who in the first set had won 8 from 12, only scored 6 from 11. Everything making a difference. see the Netherlands start with Van Garder and Spaden's the libero, Van Haarlem, Andriga, Tiamat, and the captain, Deffenbach. Turkey with Kayak. Gunesh starts again, didn't originally start. Gungor, Mehmet Toy. Yesil Bardak. The libero stays the same. And Gokosh keeps his spot. A few changes from Zanini, but they're working. Starting to push this Dutch team a little bit more. Gokosh puts the ball on the money. Just an absolute game changer if you can manage to pass the ball into the perfect position just in front of the setter between position 2 and 3. Just means the setter can run the game under so much less pressure. Turkey have started as they've finished, taking the first 2 points. Toys on the outside of the position 4, he's stopped. Spadens does well to get the ball in. It's a free ball, so the libero still has a job to do, but it means that once again the pressure is off Van Haarlem, and he can just flip the ball to the outside and let the spikers do their job. The service target. He's been a target for large periods of this weekend, the libero. I think teams have noticed that they can get on top of the libero. It's an extremely tough job playing as defensive specialist in service receive as well. As I said before, the court just gets bigger and bigger when you're struggling for confidence. One man who's not struggling for confidence is Gunesh, though. He's made a real impact. The middle blocker, who plays for Halkback. Tiamat is not having it all his own way anymore. Nor is Gungog, who just slams his hand into the floor. Deffenbach with the serve again, choosing to go with this float serve. They're standing high in the reception due to the fact that quite a humid, muggy hall that we're in. It's so hard to track the ball and pass underarm off that float serve when it comes that fast, and it is moving no matter how late your platform is to the ball. He's choosing to stand up high and volley the ball in. Starting a little bit deeper, the Dutch, and it's good. That works for them. As long as a passer, you don't let that ball go behind your shoulders. You keep your shoulders behind the ball, and you can still really influence the ball into your target. Good work from the middle. He's quick, he's sharp, and he's in. Turkey attack through Harayeli. Nobody within this arena could pick a winner between these two. Many assuming that this one would go all the way to 5 by the start. Both games going to the closest of margins. Looks like we might be going that way. Van Garderen just thumps through another one. Consistency's been key for the number 3. He's finding it again, finding his rhythm. He's blocking 2 in the block. It's excellent. It's Parkinson who's in. It is a change. Couldn't see him early on because obviously the libero started. But he's coming for Collarin. Michelle Parkinson. English heritage, but grew up in Holland. More errors. One point away from the technical timeout, and although it doesn't mean everything to go into the technical in front, it's a game of small margins, isn't it? It does make a small difference. They have small performance goals to stay in front psychologically, and Deffenbach, again, just like the first set, the Netherlands were tough to beat in the block, and when Deffenbach is in that sort of form, he's fast, he's high, and he's got a very good finish penetrating over the net. Celebrations too from Andrik. Yasil Budiak passes poorly, but to be fair to him, he stays in control and covers well. It's a low overhead pass from the libero. Second time, that's off the chin almost of Van Garderen. That's a meaty blow from Turkey on Holland. But 2 blocks in a row means that the Netherlands go into the technical timeout in charge. Gunkor, the danger man, well, you can see by his body language, he'll come back strong, I'm sure. It's actually Van Harlem who got the block that time. Couldn't find a way through the angle, tries to slow the speed of his arm down the outside hitter, but can only find the Dutch block. 8-7 in this race to 25. Remember, best of 5 sets. 5th set will be a race to 15. Teams having to win by 2 clear. Parkinson making his first contribution this weekend. Started well, he's quick at the net. Served his team into the lead. Again, serving down the line to one. It makes it difficult for the setter to find the middle, but not for Kayak. Body weight of Harili. His feet pointing towards position 1 and manages to hit it off his shoulder back to position 5. Service pressure is good from Turkey, but they still have to do some work to kill the ball, and they do so. That's twice in a row. Both middlemen are working hard and scoring points. Ganesh has exploded into this one, hasn't he? Snaps the ball back between 4 and 5. Fist clenching stuff from Zanini. He knows that his team are in an absolute battle here. Pipe's good. Ganesh caught all at sea there. Very reactive, at least he can have a laugh about it. Committed really early with Deffenbach. It's good work, good aggression from the middle player. It's important as a middleman that even if you're not getting set, you get up, you're aggressive, and you try and sell yourself to the opposing middle blocker. Ball comes absolutely belting towards the commentary position here. He's an athletic man. Burak Gongor. Spaden's body always moving to the right there and then having to stick an arm out to the left. Teams are just a game of chess trading away. It's a rare error from the opposite. That's better from Ganesh. Really delays his timing on the block to almost swat that ball straight back. From leading at the technical timeout, it's Turkey that have had the better of this mid-stage of the second. Tiamat and co are finding it very tough. Ganesh, number 14, in your screen, did well there. I think he anticipated it, he saw it, he saw the arm slow down and go for the tip. Once again, it's a game of momentum and it's always changing. Who played for long periods of the semi-final match yesterday, comes back in, and Riga disappears for the moment. Awkward left-handed serve of Kaya. You'll see that teams really try and attack the last metre of the court. Tiamat doing exactly that there, knows that if he attacks the last metre, he might go over the block, he might go off the hands. He hits high, he hits hard, he hits deep, and it's good enough. Two up, a little bit late from Deffenbach. Rare blocking error from the skipper. Calm before the storm. Both sets going all the way in the first two. Tiamat back on form. Toya's in the right position there, the 3-metre line, almost right between the legs. He's coming off to defend that sharp one. If he can't get up and block, it's still his responsibility to defend that area of court. That's the previous point. Ganesh, who has contributed well here. Fortunately for Mr. Ganesh, I curse him as he serves long. Got a little bit of breathing space. Sanini, again, having talked to him before the game, he's very methodical. Double substitution yet again. Keeming coming in for Tiamat. So the setter coming in for the opposite. Just keeping 3 on the front. Over Baker also coming in for the Dutch. Again, just 3 blockers on the front court. Keeps the left-handed opposite man in as well. Allows the Dutch to keep spreading the ball around. Very active Parkinson in there. Good blocking, Michelle Parkinson. Not just the first time to watch the middle from the opposing side, Harili. But the second time, as soon as he knows that ball isn't going to the middleman, it's going to the outside, his feet are quick, and he manages to help Overbaker out in the block. Long from Gunkor. Can't afford him to go off the boil. Timeout called from Turkey. Not their best period of this set. The Dutch are taking full advantage. Nothing that these two teams don't really know each other by now. No, about each other by now, sorry. Gunkor is being shut down. They go back to Toy, and so is the Turkish opposite man. More danger in the block from Parkinson. Teaming up with Overgarden. Exactly the same as the first set. The service pressure goes up a little bit. Turkey are really struggling to get the pass in, so it allows slightly more physical Dutch blockers to get out and support. So Dutch middle blockers to get out and support blockers on the outsides. And there's more errors in all areas of the game coming in. Remember, the Netherlands were in charge at the first technical timeout, and then they were 3 or 4 down, and all of a sudden, they're back in the lead here as we're 2/3 of our way through this third. This one is bouncing backwards and forwards, left and right. Certainly no guaranteed winner or favourite in this one. Impossible to know where you would put your money if you had to. Holland have just upped their service consistency and their pressure. Van Garderen just plucks that one out of nowhere, blocks off the defensive play. Chasing hard Kayak to set up an attack. Smart from Gokosh. I think Parkinson sort of says, my bad. It's frustration for Netherlands. Kiemink on the slide, trying to keep the ball alive. That's a big, big serve at a big time. Spadens hasn't been tested like that so far today from Gokosh. Platforms together quite early, his arms just then prod out at the ball. Can't create an angle to his target. Pressure is back on Holland here. What have they got? This one is just swinging by the minute. Gokosh almost brings the net down. So much force on that from the wing spiker. Turkey are looking for that decision. It doesn't go their way. There was a big thumping, thudding blow from Toy, but that is long of the mark. There is no touch. They can't complain about that one. Substitution, Joshkin comes in for Toy. That mistake will be the last that he sees of the court for a little while. Can he make a difference? Bear again struggling to get the pass in. He doesn't like passing underarm that often, does he? Yes, Badak. They get out of jail a little bit though, Turkey. Dutch are just raising their game. Turkey aren't scoring points freely. They're relying on a little bit of out-of-system spiking. The Dutch are starting to run in system and cause some problems. Radink has made an impression since he has came on. Over Baker, potentially his last part of the game. Yeah, there is a substitute, no surprise there. The reserve opposite coming out. Van Harlem coming back in to play backcourt. Tiamat coming in for Keeming. They're just exchanging some words, maybe some tactical knowledge, and then they change back. Vermaelen really loves using this double substitution to keep his biggest blockers, keeping 3 spikers on the front court. Deffenbach is on in the middle. They're going to want to try and get the ball to him. Can they find him from here? No, they decide to go. Use the reverse set. Radink scoring freely on the left and the right side. They like taking Goncor on the block. It's working. Huge. Tiamat has just rained down an awful lot of pain on Turkey. That's a huge, huge block, and it's caused a timeout from Zanini, and why not? Look at that straight out. Uh-oh. The blocking of the Netherlands, when it's good, it's too strong for Turkey. A long way to go in this one. Remember the final coming up later on this evening. Canada the favourites up against home nation Portugal, who are just improving through this one. They really did come to the party last night, the Portuguese. But this one has to be settled first for bronze. A bronze medal would be so important and crucial for both sides in their development. Both nations on the rise in volleyball. Another error. It's going to be so intriguing to see how this error count stacks up against Turkey at the end of the set. Spiking errors and service errors. That ball's, again, always drifting across the left side of Gokosh, which means he's not as high, he's not as balanced in the air. Loses control. No loss of control there, though, from Gunesh. He is high, he is vertical, and he is on time in the middle. First time we've seen Barak Goncor leave the court this weekend. Inaugural comes in. Makes an instant impact with a thunderbolt of the serve. That does well in defence, but this should go to Holland. Block out, it does. 2 more for the Dutch to go 2-1 up. Turkey's blocking not as disciplined as their opponents, possibly costly. Gunkor comes back into pass. Tiamat is starting to find his confidence again off the left-hand look of Gokosh. It's important to get that wrist and even your little finger back, facing back into the court to create that angle. Tierhorst comes in, the number 4 for Holland. Under pressure here, there's 3 in the block for the Dutch. Or was there a net touch against someone? I think there possibly might be. Points in anyway. 3 in the block, and for some reason the one man's taking the tip. I don't know. Need to worry about the tip so much when you've got a 3-man block. Irrelevant. Turkey are still running up a big hill here to try and snatch this 3rd set. Tierhorst makes his impression felt, much to the delight of the coaching staff and the substitutes. It's a fast arm from the number 4. Set point. They need to nip this in the bud very quickly, though. This Turkish team do rally, and they don't give up. Long. Interesting, though, you can't really remember the Dutch missing too many serves throughout this last half a set. Turkey, on the other hand, have made too many errors. Joshkin's going to serve. There is a change. Kayak is out. Yanapazar, the 2nd setter, is back in, a substitute that we see quite often. Reactions are good from Turkey. A chance to save a 2nd set point. More blocking. They think they've already won. They're looking for a net touch there, but it's not given against Turkey. Opportunity, Tierhorst, who's done so well since he's come on. Effective and physical. The Netherlands take the 3rd. Some good changes from Coach Vermaelen. Changing the setter in the opposite, the double substitution, and then that man coming in and making 2 kills at a very important time. Fired up, the Netherlands here, looking for bronze. Remember, in the initial fixture through qualification, this game was a whitewash. It was 3-0 to Turkey, but this is a complete different story. As we have a look at some highlights from what is a very competitive and a very fierce matchup here for bronze. So this one is too close to call. Both teams peaking at times, struggling at others. And there we go, the error count higher from Turkey. 10 errors. A lot of errors from both sides, really, but meaning the Netherlands only had to find 15 points. They did that 5 blocks as well. That's impressive stuff. More attacks from Turkey, but that doesn't matter when you're making as many errors as they are, and you're not making any blocks either. Rauwerdink, another substitute that influenced proceedings. Looks like Tearhorst is going to start again. He gets rewarded for coming in and really pulling the Dutch through that third set. Zanini making the most of a slight rest, maybe changing a couple of things himself. Parkinson does start. It's almost a completely different six. Overbacker looks like he might start as well. It's going to be between him and the other man in your picture, Tiamat, so maybe Overbaker doesn't start. Can only start one opposite. It is Tiamat that keeps his place. Van Haarlem, Deffenbach keep their spot. Rauwerdink, Tiamat, Tearhorst, and Parkinson. We're still waiting for Turkey. We see some highlights from Tiamat, who's been the top scorer for this Dutch side. No place in the starting six. Van Dringen or Colleran, who both started both games this weekend. Tiamat has been substituted a couple of times for Overbaker. Turkey, we've got Kayak. Gokosh starts again. Gunesh, who has made a difference, so they didn't start Gokosh and Gunesh, but they have kept their place since coming on. No surprise that Gongor is still on the court. It's the most effective weapon in the armory of Turkey. And Joshkin starts in front of Metin Toy. Parkinson comes in. Body language is strong here. Spadens forgets that he's overstayed his welcome on the centre court and has to make a move very quickly. Starting with their middle serving first, the Dutch. It's a fast play, trying to outrun the block to Horst. Starting very much inside the court, so it's a race against time to try and get to the pin to hit this one, especially off such a quick play. So he's trying to outrun the block, but maybe would have been better trying to fiddle the ball down the line. Started strong again here, the Dutch. Walter Tiamat has won 17 points. Gungor 15. Sorry, Tiamat scoring 22 overall, my mistake. Quite a few off the serve as well. They've just raced into a 3-1. Sorry, we're tied at 2s. Good passing, it's tight though for Van Haarlem. Dig is good from Turkey. Second chance through the opposite. Joshkin, just like Toy, struggling to find an answer through that right side of court. Again, the Dutch blockers are standing up, taking responsibility, proving to be pretty resourceful as well. It's a good finish from Tiamat, trying to find anything he can to get the ball back in to the centre of the court. Sorry, Tearhorst. Nice. From Gokosh. It's been a long game this already, 1 hour and 30 minutes. This might raise a few questions. A lift has been called against the passing unit of the Netherlands. Carry, just Spartans potentially dropping his hands. Cover needs to be good here. There's 3 in the block. Cover does not need to be good because Tiamat just cannons one off the three-man block. No respect. Walter, Tiamat are really quite high in the block, but not really taking any time or space away from the spiker in the finish. It's close. This is good from Kayak as well. Middleman held with the setter. Kayak has also utilised and used the two ball a couple of times this weekend already. Absolutely no block. Easy pickings that for Turkey. Again, through in the block. They're trying to get through in the block as many times as possible. No block. The second time of asking, though. Deffenbach has been impressive all weekend, disciplined, and really the middleman is renowned as the workhorse of the team. Not always the player that gets all the praise, has to be in the air every single time, asking for the ball, calling for the ball, has to do their best to try and get out, not only block their own opposite number, but also get out and help support their teammates as well. It's a selfless job being a middleman. Hey, really killing one for Turkey. It's nice for Turkey. From way out of town, Rauerdink. Didn't really have any answer there. The pass was quick and it established too much pressure on Dan Van Haarlem. Surely this can't go again, can it? It's momentum swinging everywhere. Better to Horse again. He loves hitting the ball off his body. It's a brutal swing through position 6 on the pipe. No defending that from Gorkosh. Brutal, brutal stuff from the number 4. Has proved a point since he's come on. Another service error. 8-6 Turkey, technical timeout. This consistency that we saw from the Netherlands in the previous set has sort of gone. The blocks that they were making, the service pressure that they were inflicting on the opposition has gone a little bit dry. But there's a long way to go, that's for sure. We're only at the first hurdle of this 4th set. Parkinson takes a little bit of his own time. He's been liberoed off. The middleman in on the action at the moment is Deffenbach. Front 3 for Turkey is Gunesh, Gunkor and Joshuk. This should be really the strongest front line for Turkey. They're going to have a chance here because sloppy passing again. They've taken their foot off the gas here. Easy stuff for Turkey, and this is just the same as we've seen before this weekend. Teams are really struggling for consistency. This is why volleyball is such a marathon. It's hard to maintain focus for long periods of time, and remember, we're already 1 hour and 45 minutes into this game, so that's why it is so difficult. Tiamat is dug again. Another chance for Turkey to extend their lead to 4, and it is jousted through from Gungor. They're starting to pick up pace here, the team in red. Just a bit of a role reversal. Last set, Netherlands had everything going their way. Now it's Turkey's turn timeout called. The Netherlands are sweating here in Porto. Turkey just do not know when they're beaten. Keep coming back. Said yesterday, though, they were very good at establishing a lead, but then giving it away. Tierhorst again whipping one on the angle. The Netherlands just haven't passed well enough throughout this fourth set. Defenbach now goes back to serve, but he hasn't really influenced the game for a little while. Turkey also won't influence the game through the middle here. Some set that is, but Defenbach defending at position 1 does well. Oh, 3 through the centre. They're staying very close together. The 3 blockers, I think they realise that Horst is not really going to hit much to the line. Everything goes down the seam or to the sideline. They've got him covered. 4-point game. Should see the middle here, yes. Good. From Van Haren, when the ball is in, it has been sporadic, the passing of Holland, and when the ball isn't, look, nice work from Parkinson. Always can have a little look at the blocker and then shape the ball back towards position 1. Double substitution, something that has worked today. Overbaker and Kiemink come in. Kiemink comes in on the backcourt as a replacement for the opposite to now set. Is now the one getting his feet to the ball. It's a very nice set to Overbaker, and again the substitution, he has made some good ones. Coach Vermaelen. Brings a bit of a different picture, having to defend and block against the left-hander. Very low, so Kayak has to dig set the ball. Net touch somewhere. Kiemik not very pleased. Nothing too flash going on here, nothing too crazy as the teams once again just trade some points, trade some tactics before we hit the business end of the set. It's exactly the same as the previous set, don't forget, though. It was always 3 or 4 points. Turkey were in charge, and then all of a sudden, the Netherlands just upped their game from the service line, and that also affected their blocking. Again, they're out of system. That's trying to take on the flash option there, Kayak. He puts his hand up and apologises, because that is very rash. Trying to find Joshuk. Setting off the shoulder. Easy for Overbecker. Poor from Turkey. They did not want to drop their standards here. Thankfully, Tierhorst gives the impetus straight back to the opposition. Overbaker again. Almost Kiemink knows the relationship's good. The link is good between himself and the opposite. There's nothing flash there from Kiemink. He's not trying to spread the play. He's not trying to run the block around. He's just doing the simple thing well, putting the ball up, giving it a little bit of a peek and letting his opposite player storm through and do the rest. Oh, deja vu here in Porto. Defenbach comes back onto the front row and makes another block. Him and Overbaker, sorry, it's tough to see from the commentary position, but Overbacker was the man who took the block. Deffenbach played a great supporting role. Big contribution from the left-hander. We're back at 1. Same story as the previous set. Turkey ran away with it. And now it's the Netherlands who just keep pegging back. Service pressure and pressure in the block defense, key for this team. Kiemink has brought a little bit of calm to the situation. Overbaker, a little bit of physicality. Deffenbach is in the block again. Starting position 4. Roedink moves from 2 to 4, and Overbacker is at 2. Better from Turkey this time. When the pass is strong, they're a tough unit to break down. Fascinating when a team celebrates an opposition's missed serve. There's a little bit of meaning behind it. They know that Gokosh does pack a punch from that back line, and with that miss it just brings a little sigh of relief that they don't have to receive the serve. Overbaker with the jump serve of his own. Deffenbach with another block, but unfortunately the ball drops on his own side. It's a nice timeout, that, for Turkey. It has just released a little bit of pressure. Turkey, the bottom-ranked team in this Final Four in world ranking. But they're on the build. Float serve. Roedink struggle with 3 or 4 float serves that have just been at the body and dropped in front of him. Technical timeout. Turkey just swung around again. Turkey are back in control here by 3. Zanini again, very calm, very relaxed in the way that he works with his players, as is Coach Vermaelen from the Netherlands. This one is turning into a marathon. Almost at 2 hours already. Almost a completely different 6 that started this one on court for the Netherlands. Van Haarlem is still on the court. Deffenbach also, but that's about it. Sorry, Van Haarlem is coming in for Overbacker now. Tiamat coming straight back in to join the front court. Kiemink has done his job, as is Overbacker, but they want to keep 3 front court spikers. They don't want to rely on the pipe attack or the 10. They need to find something here. The Netherlands starts with the pass. There is no middle. Deffenbach gives up, so there's 2 men blocking on the outside. Chased down gloriously well, though, from high early, showing that middlemen can be agile and fast over a short distance as well. Just being pretty persistent here, the Turkish team. Roedink makes up for a little bit of a sketchy pass the point before with an uncompromising swing. Just creeps one off the block. Still have no idea which way this one is going to go. Front court setter, so there's no front court option at 2. They tried to use the pipe, but the ball's long. This is a sort of trait of Turkey that we're getting accustomed to, isn't it? They fire up and they score points all over, but then after that, they're also accustomed to making some errors in the serve and also spiking as well. Chance to go all square. Tiamat started to light up once again. Holland have won 3 in a row. Turkey was so in control here, but a couple of errors and a missed side out. Opportunity taken from the Netherlands. Zanini is now feeling the pressure again, and the body language and the spirit of Holland is lifting. Again, Gonkosh is the target. We've seen that before, but Gunko with one of the steepest of angles. Just gets his wrist round that one. Thumb starts to point down on the swing and guides it with some force into the Taraflex. Question is, can the Dutch keep their concentration in the service receive? They're struggling with the float serve a little bit, but that is good. Deffenbach takes the middleman and makes Tiamat's job blissful and easy and very breezy here. And that's all because the pass is good and because Deffenbach is on time, he's aggressive. Gunesh has no choice but to jump with the middleman, and then Tiamat can do the rest. This is exactly the same as the previous set. Holland always behind until the last third. Is it going to go the same way? Yes, it is. More blocking. Terhorst again. Gunko struggling here, and when he struggles, the Turkish side start to break down. This has definitely been their period of this game. They've come good in the last third of the set. Deffenbach, unfortunately, can't carry on the consistency. Service pressure. Rauerdink is definitely a target here for Gunko and Turkey. It's receiving a lot of balls. His platform was together far too early there. Maybe just shows how much this ball's doing. Tiamat drops into the pass better, and Tiamat just really 3 or 4 kills in a row. That's what you want from your opposite man, a high percentage of gutsy blows, and that's what you get. Well, that's what we've got today from Tiamat. We didn't see it so much yesterday, but better from Joshua. Could be interesting to see if we see Metin Toy come back into the action. It's a really nice feet inside the ball. He jams the feet in and the arm does the rest. Very high there, Joshua. More missed serves from Turkey. 2 of these 3 sets have been won by the closest of margins, just by 2. This looks like it might just be the same. Ace! Oh no, it's been given long, the line judge. Rodriga comes in. That was close. The Dutch team thought that had just dipped in. It's pretty clear that it did just go the long side of the baseline. 2 missed serves in a row, sloppy. Under pressure again, short ball's good. The middleman has to take the pass, and that's not what he wants to do, but Parkinson does do a good job. Turkey have a chance to open up this lead here. Liberi does his job, but this is scratchy. Tiamat can only volley the ball in, so it's a free ball, and it should be a point. Yes, it is for Turkey. Did not take their opportunity after Spadens made the dig. That was their chance, but the set was poor, so that one from Tiamat just had to be a volley in. It's the usual tactic there, using the pipe when you're in system. A lot of people say that the time that you don't want to use the middle is when the ball is perfect, because the opposition middle is fully aware of what's happening as well. Little runs of points going one way and then another. Zanini does not look under pressure at all. Just feeding the opposite. Every time they need a point, they go to Walter Tiermat. He's been consistent, effective, but can he carry this team over the line? At the moment, he's on the back court. They would prefer him to be on the front court, the Dutch. Front court setter here, so they can only use a 10 attack, and that is long. Big celebrations here, because that's a huge point in the context of this game. Joshuk hitting from the 10 attack, struggling. Both teams have front court setters. No touch on that one, pretty clear to see. Intriguing. Opposites are both on the back. Guncourt also on the back on the pipe. They do go to Joshua, can shut down 2 in a row on the opposite. Guncourt cannot do anything. The number 4 for Turkey is isolated on the backcourt, and especially when the pass isn't good. 2 in the block, Rawadink does the rest. Substitution, it is Metin Toy. We did wonder if we'd see him again. This one has just flipped again on its head. 3 in a row from the Netherlands. Joshuk goes, 2 missed opportunities in a row, gets him almost disciplined by the coach, and he has to sit down. Toy now has the weight of Turkish hopes on his shoulders. But the key fact of the matter is that their biggest option is on the backcourt here, Guncourt, and the ball is off the net again, so they can't use him. More blocking. Guncourt does do what he can in the cover. More blocks, and a match point for the Netherlands from nowhere. 4 in a row at the business time of a set. Turkey have shut down here in Porto. From all areas on the opposite, out at 4. Gokosh blocked. First match point. Unbelievable, Turkey. They've got themselves in front in the last 2 sets, and then they've let it slip. Timeout called. Last throw at the dice from Turkey coming our way. Vermaelen has just kept his troops working hard. They've been gutsy, and they've kept at it. Where do we go now? Is there another twist? Will we see Turkey dig deep and get over the finish line in this set and force us to a tiebreaker? The odds are now against them. They can't find an answer. Guncourt is on the back court. Boy, oh boy, would Turkey love him to be on the front. Guncourt with a sloppy pass. Free swing here. A good opportunity for Tiermat. Puts it away. Holland win bronze in World League Group 2 for 2016. Turkey will be gutted. They had their opportunities in front in the previous 2 sets, but they've thrown it away. Good substitutions. It's a strong serving and blocking display from the Netherlands. And that man, Walter Tiermat, was on fine form again. The top point scorer, the opposite man, delivers a bronze for Holland. Teerhorst did very well coming in through four, almost a different six who started. Turkey again, they showed promise, the bottom ranked team here in the world rankings. 3 in a row they've lost. That's the Netherlands' first win in 3 in this World League, and what a way to finish their campaign. Deffenbach was strong all weekend in the middle, but really Walter Tiermat dragged the game away from Turkey at times at the start and at the finish. Parkinson made his impact off the bench. The other middle making some key blocks at key times, but when they served well and Turkey are out of system, their blocking really did make the difference. Hugs all round for the Dutch. They take bronze in the FIVB World League Group 2 for 2016. They're a young team working hard and they are getting better and better. Here we have some stats. More attacks from the Netherlands, but that blocking margin again, 5 blocks to 2. Made a few more errors in that final set, but the blocks and the attacks were key. We're going to go in just a moment to see some highlights and then have a courtside interview with the Dutch captain, I think, Jasper Deffenbach, who will be very happy to lead a bronze. Remember, it's Netherlands side. Won the European champs in '97, a silver in Barcelona, and maybe they're getting back to their glory ways. Some performance. 2 or 3 times finding themselves behind and then always asking questions of the opposition. Weren't scared to take risks with the serving. And some very good substitutions from Vermaelen. Double substitutions, setters and blockers. Opposite players. Sorry. Really good stuff. They take bronze. Devastation for Turkey. Gungur, who's had a fantastic World League. As we go down for a courtside interview with Jasper Deffenbach. Jasper, congratulations. What a way to finish your World League campaign, a bronze.
Thank you very much. I'm very proud of my team that we fought back today after a tough loss against Portugal yesterday. And today we showed what kind of a team we are with the fighting spirit, and I'm really proud of the guys.
Revenge after the qualification game as well?
I'm sorry?
Revenge after the qualification game earlier in the year?
Yeah, kind of, and we'll play them again in the European qualification tournament in September, so I think this is a good win for us. We know them, they know us, so it will be tough fight again in September.
The future's looking really promising for the Netherlands.
Oh, we have a young team with a lot of guys who want to work hard, who want to play hard, and yeah, no, it's looking good. Thanks.
Awesome, congratulations and enjoy your celebrations.
All right, thank you.
So it's the Netherlands that take bronze here in Porto. They showed heart and character to defeat Turkey. But who will win gold? You'll have to join us later to see. But from us, from now, it's goodbye.